back to Wet Blanket, home of bad audio and even worse takes, and today I have with me a friend of the channel and mutual on Instagram, Felix Mendelssohn's Forehead.
Hello!
So this account is one of my favorite meme accounts on Instagram. I'm not kidding, like, this is a super talented artist, draws out most of or every single one of their memes that they post, and just has a very delightful style. So I'm very excited to have the Forehead on my channel today. Tell them a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Hi, I'm Felix Mendelssohn's Forehead, but you can call me Tony. I've been in the meme scene since March of last year. I have an interesting taste of classical music. I've been drawing for as long as I can remember, and yeah.
Today, Tony and I are not talking about Felix Mendelssohn. We're actually talking about Carl Maria von Weber. So, Weber is a Romantic era composer, and they get confused quite often with a composer that I am quite knowledgeable on, Webern, even though they are eras and eras apart, compositionally, and just in time itself. So I don't know very much about Weber. I know pretty much only what I was taught in music history class. So I thought, because we have such a beloved guest today, that it would be super cool if Tony here taught me a little bit about Weber, because Weber is one of their favorite composers, yeah?
Yep, I've been listening to Weber exclusively since I was about 12 or 13 years old. Because, like, Weber is, like, one of those composers where it's like, who is this guy? Like, no one knows who he is. Like, when brought up in music history classes, because I've taken them before as well in my university, there's probably, like, a slide or half a slide dedicated to him.
No,
and it's only mentioning, like, one thing. And, yeah, I'm just here to spread the word about Weber, because, like, no one really knows or either cares about him. Because I think most of the glaze goes to Richard Wagner, because Weber was one of Wagner's huge inspirations, which is quite sad to see him getting overthrown by someone so infamous.
Well, yeah, like, one of the only things that I know about Weber is the fact that Wagner wrote one of his funeral songs.
Yes, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, because we played it in my college symphonic band. But like,
that's awesome.
Again, that's like one of the very few things I know about Weber, because yeah, he gets like maybe a slide despite being somebody who was so influential in the classical music scene.
Yeah, because not only did he like inspire Wagner, he inspired like so many others. Like, I'm talking Felix Mendelssohn, Chopin, Liszt.
Well, and as an opera singer as well, I know about Der Freischütz. And
hell yeah.
That is such a fun show. Oh my god, I love the Hunter's Chorus so much.
Hunter's Chorus, oh my god, don't even joke, lad. That one is so fucking catchy.
Well, I mean, with all that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and give the floor to you. Tell us a little bit about some key points about who Weber was, and we'll go from there.
Carl Maria Friedrich Ernst von Weber was born on... Okay, there's questionable speculation about his birthday because the dates are all jumbled. So he was either born on November 18th, 19th, or December 18th of 1786. But to me personally, I just go for November 18th because that's what Google says. He was born in Jüten, Germany. He was born to father Franz Anton von Weber, who was a musician, theater director, violinist, and a conductor, and mother Genevieve Weber, who was an opera singer and an actress. Weber traveled frequently with his father's theater company from 1789 to 1796, but his family was always in a financial rut, so the company failed after 1796. This is when Franz Anton decided to give Karl music lessons with the hopes of presenting him as a prodigy. Weber had many teachers. Please forgive me if I butcher any names because German is not my lingo. Hugh Jekyll and the famous Michael Haydn in 1798, brother of Joseph Haydn. They did, in fact, meet Joseph Haydn in 1798 for potential lessons, but it was unsuccessful. He did see potential in Weber, which was like, hell yeah, coming from Joseph Haydn, like that's pretty
It's a big
good.
fucking deal, yeah.
But unfortunately, Weber's mother died early at 34 years because of tuberculosis, which caused them to move to Munich away from Michael Haydn and everybody. In Munich, Weber's new teacher was Johann Nepomuk Kalscher, and he produced his first ever opera. Okay, Google Translate. The Power of Love and Wine.
Okay.
He made another opera. I'll Google Translate. The Forest Girl, after a few weeks, which got premiered, but it was unfortunately unsuccessful to the point of public dispute. Weber made his third opera, Peter Schmoll, which thankfully was more successful and received a positive review from Michael Haydn. From 1803 to 1804, Weber traveled to Vienna to study with George Joseph, otherwise known as Abbe Vogler. This is where Weber showed genuine improvement with his composition and instrumentation skills. The Stuttgart era afterwards, from the late 1800s to the early 1810s, was the best and worst for Weber. It was the best because he released his first majorly successful opera, Silvana, and kept composing piano and instrumental works. But also his worst because he was faced with terrible financial turmoil and was a secretary to Duke Ludwig of Württemberg, who was a problematic figure in Weber's life. Weber was in charge of the Duke's finances, but since Weber wasn't entirely out of brokenness, he left unpaid debts and was involved in financial manipulations with his father. This caused him and his father to be sent to prison for fraud, bribery, and embezzlement. But after their sentence, they were exiled from Stuttgart after Weber and his father repaid their debts.
Man, you're not a good composer unless you're sent to prison.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. That's how you know he's peaked, because he actually got sent to jail for something.
Fuck yeah.
But moving on, in 1810, Weber continued his studies with Vogler in Darmstadt. Around this time, Weber released his second most successful early opera, Abu Hassan, which is a comic opera. Weber and many other students of Vogler, including his best friend, Giacomo Meyerbeer. He was actually really, really good friends with him.
Slay!
Yeah, I remember reading once when they were younger and were students of Vogler, they messed around on the church organ after service. So Weber, other students, and Meyerbeer developed a platform for young artists to note the rising trends. 3 years later, Weber was offered a Kapellmeister position in the Estate Theater in Prague. He soon gained a positive reputation for establishing and promoting German-language operas. Around this time, Weber had been in an up-and-down relationship with singer and actress Caroline Brandt, who performed in the Silvana premiere back in 1810. They've had a few separations, to which they reconciled back in 1815 and continued to date. In 1816, the year after, Weber terminated his 3-year Kapellmeister contract. However, he was offered to take over as a music director for the Leipzig Opera. At this time, Weber and Brandt got married in 1817. Yippee!
Yay!
They're honestly the cutest couple ever. I have a great friend, shout out to Shell, who translated their letters from German to English. And oh my god, They are fucking adorable. I love them so much.
Oh, I love how he married.
Yes.
He married an opera singer. You know.
Yeah, it's so cute. Just like how his dad married his mother, who was also an opera singer.
Oh wait, that's cute as fuck. Hold on.
The newlyweds moved to Dresden since Karl got an appointment to the Dresden Court Theater. This part was bad because there was too much discourse between German versus Italian operas with a colleague of his, in which Weber was defending German opera, obviously. But Weber was also a known music critic, so his criticism was mainly targeted towards Italian operas. He has been known to describe them as quite dull and lacking dramatic coherence.
You know what?
Yeah.
He's right for that. He's right for that.
Yep.
100,000%. And I will stand on business.
Amen. Because like Italian opera, I feel is mostly focused on the singing rather than the story.
Yup.
Because shout out Bel Canto, ha ha ha. But I don't think I've ever really listened to Italian operas because they're just so like.
There's no story there.
Yeah, exactly what Weber says, dull and lacking dramatic coherence. Like I can't get away with watching something that doesn't have a good storyline with it.
You know what? And I feel like, him saying that, I can kind of see the influences that Wagner took from him because, with the with a total work, you are focusing on the story equally as you were focusing on the music. And so I feel like he was kind of the guy that first started putting that into the world. So that's really interesting.
Exactly.
But also, he's so fucking right for that. I cannot stand some Italian.
It is. I don't blame you. I've only probably listened to like one, and that was composed by Meyerbeer, and he's not even Italian.
Yo, let's fucking go. I mean, like, obviously, you listen to the Mozart Italian operas, and Mozart's not Italian either.
Exactly.
They're Italian in my heart.
After Weber and his wife moved to Dresden between 1817 to 1820, Weber produced his first ever magnum opus during this time, Der Freischütz.
Let's go!
Yeah! The opera was premiered in 1821 in Berlin to the mass public and critical praise. 2 years later, his second most well-known opera, Euryanthe, was premiered in 1823. Euryanthe was not as successful as Der Freischütz, mainly because the libretto was poorly formatted and the critical responses to the opera were mainly negative. But in the mid-1820s, Weber's health had notably started to decline. He already had a wife and 2 children, and many more things to compose. In 1822, Weber was commissioned to create an opera for London. The only problem is that the premiere was supposed to be in London, England. Weber then finished Oberon in 1825 for the commissioner. Despite doctors and familiar orders not to go, Weber was still under financial turmoil, so he had no choice but to go to England, even if it killed him. Weber left for London in February 1826. He made a stop in Paris to see if any commissioners were interested in his work. In March, he arrived in London. He had to complete, rehearse, and conduct Oberon, all while his health was deteriorating rapidly. Weber was socially, mentally, and physically stressed at this time. After the premiere of Oberon in April, Weber immediately fainted on a couch after the performance because he was so burnt out and exhausted. A couple months after that, on June 5th, 1826, Weber would unfortunately pass away in his sleep, succumbing to tuberculosis. Autopsy reports showed that there were many lesions and an egg-sized abscess in his lung. The saddest part is that Weber died the day he was supposed to come home to his family in Dresden.
Oh, that's so fucking sad.
The way he got tuberculosis was from his mother.
Oh shit, really?
It lay dormant. Yeah, it lay dormant in his system. And he'd have a few bouts of like respiratory illness and whatnot, but it only started to really affect him in the mid-1820s.
You know what? Because I was thinking that too, because his mom also died of tuberculosis. That's insane. Damn.
Yeah, it's really awful.
It really runs in the family.
Genuinely it does, but not in a genetic way. It's in a contagious way.
Bitch, it runs through the family. And then obviously his body had to stay in London until they were able to get it back to Germany, wherein Wagner wrote that funeral song. Huh.
Yes, because his body was like, this is such a vague memory, but like, yeah, his body in London was like there for like several years, and within the range of 10 to 30 years before it returned back to Germany, in Dresden, where he's buried.
No, because it was a long ass time. I remember learning about that in Symphonic Band, and I was like, dude, embalming back then was nowhere near as good as it is now. Bro was soup.
Exactly.
Bro was returned as
genuinely.
Soup. Ugh, that's so
crazy. Yeah, especially because like he had so many abscesses in his lungs. His lungs were actually like beyond saving.
His lungs were Swiss cheese, bro. That's crazy.
Like, I almost cried like reading his autopsy report, because like, oh my god, this is actually like severely damaging. And not only did he have like respiratory issues, the tuberculosis also like affected fluid retention, so his feet were like swollen. Aww. He had like a hard time putting on like his socks and shoes. Yeah, and he also had like gastrointestinal issues because of it as well. It was like actually so sad to see.
Yeah, but like you said, like he had no fucking money, which is like something that's unfortunately so relatable, as you know, so many musicians.
So true.
So okay, with his like spending habits though, was he an irresponsible spender, or like why was he constantly? I know that he had some debts that he went to prison for, but
I know he's not a gambler. That is such a Mozart and Paganini thing.
Right? I didn't think so either.
Yeah. He has early ill health issues. His father's lifestyle as a theater manager, which like failed multiple times, as you may have heard, and his own generous nature apparently. In terms of generosity, he was like really known to help others, which may have led him to like spend more money than he should, to be honest.
But
it just put more strain on him. He's just like me for real. I'd just be doing shit without thinking about myself.
He really was a young musician. Oh my god.
Oh my god, for real. I'm just happy he wasn't a gambler.
No, right? Oh my god. Because like, you think about a lot of composers and you have to kind of put away or set aside a lot of shit that they've done to focus on, you know, their contributions to music. Except for me, obviously, because I love Arnold Schoenberg, who is the most unproblematic composer in the entire world. I guess he was literally just another situation of somebody who is born into poverty and stayed in poverty, which, me too. We kind of already talked a little bit about why he was important and his, you know, impression on big major composers and things like that. So I want to talk a little bit more about what drew you to him personally.
When I first listened to him, I noticed that his music was like honestly full of whimsy and joy.
Hell yeah.
But also, in other cases, it can be like really somber, intense, but also beautiful. Like, he genuinely shows like deep passion for music, which truly comes through his work. And even like outside of a music perspective, like his life was like full of ups and downs, which, to be honest, inspires me to accept the fact that life has many twists and turns, and you can get through it regardless. Even if you die at the ripe old age of 39 from tuberculosis.
Golly, yeah.
This was kind of funny. But when I first saw him, when I was like 12 or 13, I was just chilling in my 7th grade class. I was just like looking up romantic era composers on the Chromebook.
Yes.
And I saw Carl Maria von Weber. I was like, holy shit, this guy is actually, like, kind of cute. Like, there's never been a bad picture of Weber that I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's actually, like, unironically very attractive. Like, if you want a good reference as to what he looks like, look at his death mask. Like, like, he's actually...
Bro was mogging. Bro was mogging.
Pretty.
Well, and here's the thing.
Bro's genuinely mewing. He's mewing, bro.
He was, bro. He's mewing with tuberculosis. The fuck? Like, well, it is one of those situations where it's like, you look at old paintings of romantic composers, or just composers in general, and all of them look vastly different, but all of Weber's portraits look like the same guy. And that's how you know he was fine. Because, like, you see pictures...
Exactly.
You'll see two pictures of Felix Mendelssohn or Franz Schubert, and they will look vastly different.
But Weber, he's fucking slaying.
Bro is consistently fine, and we appreciate that. Reminds me of the picture of Ravel in the fucking cunty fur coat. You said that his father tried to put him forth as a child prodigy. Was he not?
Yes.
He just wasn't a child prodigy?
I think this was around the time, because this was, like, late classical, early romantic, and Mozart had just, like, recently passed, and everyone was like, I must get my children to be just like Mozart. Like, you know?
No, that's relatable. That is very relatable. Having parents
Yeah,
that
that
are
was like a huge trend.
my kid's a prodigy too. It's like, no, bitch. I'm literally just 7. The fuck. And I know this is a little bit off topic, but Mendelssohn was inspired by Weber. What drew you to Mendelssohn? Because your account is Felix Mendelssohn's forehead.
I also really like Mendelssohn as well, but I think it's like the same thing as Weber. I just really like that whimsy, joy music. Mendelssohn and Weber I'll actually bring up in a moment when if there's fun facts involved.
Oh yeah. Fun facts are next.
Oh hell yeah. Beautiful. So I will definitely bring that up.
All right. Well then, with that being said, get into some fun facts.
All right. These are my personal favorite because Weber's life was genuinely like so interesting. Before Carl and Caroline started a family, they raised many pets together, such as a dog, a cat, a raven, and a capuchin monkey named Schnuff.
What? And a monkey?
Yeah, and a monkey, bro.
And a fucking raven? How do you get a raven? The fuck?
I don't know, like the same way Mozart got a starling? I don't know.
That is true. Oh my god, that's dope.
Weber's time in life was almost cut early, because in Stuttgart, he almost died from accidentally ingesting engraving acid that his father had. Because his dad was like trying to take some jobs in like literally anything he could find, so he just did stuff in engraving. So Weber came home like one day and I don't know, he was just really tired, so he thought he was gonna have like a nice bottle of wine to ease his nerves, but the nearest bottle he could find, that was full of engraving acid.
Ooh.
And it was accidental. But because of this, since Weber used to take singing lessons, his voice was permanently damaged from the acid, making his voice raspy for the rest of his life.
Damn. Do you know what voice part he was?
It doesn't say, but I'm just gonna assume a tenor.
I'm headcanoning tenor.
I'm headcanoning tenor as well. He looks like a tenor, I ain't gonna hold you.
Deadass.
Coming back to Weber's dislike for the Italian opera genre, he hated it. He hated it so much. Like, he genuinely had beef with Rossini. Cold-hearted beef. He listened to a Rossini opera, and, like, he was faced with admiration, denial, and frustration.
He was like, damn it, this shit got hands.
Yes, genuinely, that was literally what he was like. He was like, oh my god, do I actually like this?
Rossini is kind of goated. In terms of Italian opera composers, Rossini it's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, Rossini's pretty fucking funny. I love that guy.
I think that his librettos had a little bit more substance than those around him.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, obviously their discourse was obviously between the Italian versus German opera styles, like, you suck, he said, blah, 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 all that. Their beat was actually hilarious, though. But yeah, another fact, Beethoven and Weber met up in 1823. Weber also used to dislike Beethoven's music, with rumored banters being tossed around at each other. But when they met, he said, like, Beethoven treated him like his lady.
What?
Genuinely. Like, they went out for dinner together. They went out.
It was
It
rizzing.
was so funny. Beethoven was probably rizzing the fuck out of Weber then.
Y'all, Beethoven is
like,
not beating the allegations.
Oh, I gotta read that letter too, because that one's so fucking funny. I will alongside the one with Weber and his wife. And going back to Weber and Rossini, they did meet up in 1826 when Weber was heading towards London. He was on his way to London for the Oberon premiere and showed up uninvited at Rossini's doorstep. Rossini genuinely showed, like, concern for Weber's health, because, like, when Weber was at his doorstep, there were, like, maybe, like, a couple of stairs leading up there. Weber was, like, pale and breathless, like, he was, like, out of breath from just walking up, like, under 5 stairs, and he was super emaciated.
Jesus.
Rossini was another person that told Weber, like, don't go to London, bro, you're gonna fucking die. And then Weber was like, I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to an Italian. You can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna go to London, whether you like it or not, bitch.
That's fucking crazy to, I mean, just consider the fact that he was being ravaged by tuberculosis, but even so, made a special stop at his op's house. Uninvited.
Genuinely.
Uninvited to be like, and another thing, bitch.
The #1 hater of all composer history.
Tuberculosis be damned, he was gonna pull up on his ops.
He was born with a congenital hip problem, causing him to limp his whole life.
You know, baddies have chronic issues. That's just how it is.
Exactly, bro. No wonder Weber was so fine. He was, like, physically ill all the way.
Who is this diva limping up to Rossini's house whilst his lungs are filling with Swiss cheese?
And then Weber, as you may know, he was friends with Meyerbeer. They were like best fucking buddies. They were so close, they called each other brother.
Two pretty best friends.
Like, historians will say they're friends. Ha 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 ha. Am I right?
Am I right, guys? Fuck.
If Weber didn't die of tuberculosis, then he lived, like, in the same time as, like, Richard Wagner when he was spewing all, like, that hate speech stuff towards Meyerbeer, he would have, like, clocked him. He would have clocked Wagner.
No, because that is so fucking interesting that Wagner was like, I fucking love Weber, but you, bitch. And it's like, dude, you have no idea. They were best friends. I fucking hate Wagner.
This one might be hard to believe, but
Right.
he dressed up in a Cleopatra outfit.
Drag?
Like, he was infatuated with a singer named Gretchen Lung.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, this was in the Stuttgart era, and I think this was before he started dating his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they and a few other friends planned to meet up to remake a satirical parody of Mark Antony, with Lang as Mark Antony and Weber as Cleopatra, and a few other friends who participated. So, Lang was performing alongside Weber's future wife in Silvana. I think Lang had the main role of Silvana, while Caroline was Silvana's sister, I think. Or it's the other way around. No, it's Caroline was the Silvana's sister. Blind sister, that is, I think.
See, this is one of those situations where I totally wish photography existed back then, Because, bitch, I would
So
love
true.
to see a picture of Weber cunted out dressed up as Cleopatra.
Genuinely, I bet you like so much money, like my life savings of $2, he served cunt in that.
Oh,
like,
God.
He has never looked bad in anything that he wore in like paintings and stuff, but this takes it to the next level in like the best way possible.
Fucking imagining his fucking raspy ass voice doing doing Cleopatra with a fucking professionally trained opera singer as Mark Antony is just sending me.
It's actually perfect. It's like meant to be.
I fucking love
But
it.
obviously their relationship didn't last long. So.
Right.
Wah, wah.
But you know what? You know you're head over heels for a baddie when you're doing drag for her.
Dude, genuinely. Like, he was so infatuated with Gretchen. Like, he's like the type of guy to only solely focus on her and, like, ignore his friends and family.
Damn.
Like, he's that type of guy.
He's
He's
a
like
lover
that,
boy.
like... Yes, he's like a hopeless romantic. Genuinely.
I fuck with that.
I fuck with that heavy. I'm just like that too, for real.
On God. He's just like us. Drag included.
Dragon included, so true. Rest in peace, Carl Maria von Weber. You would have loved RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah! You would have loved Trixie Mattel!
May or may not know, but Weber was Mozart's wife is Weber's second cousin. I guess like music runs in the family because Constance was a singer herself.
So what I'm hearing is,
And
all opera singers out there, if you marry a composer, it is 100% certified that that composer will go on without fail.
exactly, and they'll be guaranteed to love you.
True, unless you're Wagner.
Wagner, suck my balls.
True, on God.
Where the Mendelssohn and Weber influence comes to play, there's a couple of things I want to say. I know I inserted one, but I recall another one.
Yeah.
The first one, Mendelssohn was actually in one of the Der Fleisch's premieres. Like, as an audience member, he watched it and he was like, oh my God, this is so good.
He's just like us.
It's so true. Like, he was like really young when he saw it too. He was probably like I'd say under 15 or 10 or something. I don't know. Yeah, he was like a little guy just watching Der Fleisch's and watching
yeah.
Peak. And the best one, I give my partner, Mr. Mendelssohn's forehead, kudos to this, because he's the one that discovered it and not me. Felix Mendelssohn referenced a melodic excerpt from Oberon in his Midsummer's Night Dream overture.
So were you interested in Weber first and then Mendelssohn?
That's a good question. I think so, yeah.
That's cool. But it wasn't necessarily...
I think there's like a year difference.
Ah.
Pardon?
It wasn't necessarily you were interested in Mendelssohn because Weber. That's just kind of how it worked out.
Yeah, it's kind of how it worked. I listened to Weber first when I was in 7th grade, and then I started listening to Mendelssohn not long after.
Okay. Why sing pop songs when you can sing Der Freischütz? The fuck?
Exactly, bro.
I mean, did you want to get into some of those letters?
Yes, I'm trying to find them right now.
Yeah, no rush.
I found the letters between Weber and Beethoven. The letter Weber sent to his wife about Beethoven.
Yes! I'm excited.
Hell yeah. So, start quote, the main thing was to see Beethoven. The latter received me with the most touching affection. He embraced me at least 6 or 7 times in the heartiest fashion, and finally, full of enthusiasm, cried, yes, you are a devil of a fellow, a fine fellow. We spent the noon hour together, very merrily and happily. This rough, repellent man actually paid court to me, served me at his table, as carefully as though I were his lady, etc. In short, this day always will remain a most remarkable one for me. As for all who shared in it, it gave me quite special exhilaration to see myself overwhelmed with such affectionate attention by this great spirit. How saddening of his deafness, for everything must be written down for him. We saw the baths, drank from the spring, and at 5 o'clock drove back again to Vienna. End quote.
You know, one, that's Riz. Two,
Yep.
I feel that's really touching because I feel like we only ever hear people talk about Beethoven's fits of anger and rage and all of the bad parts of him, and we never really get to indulge in the parts of Beethoven that were jolly.
Exactly, man.
Because obviously his deafness, you know, took so much of his happiness with it. But no, like he fucking reading that and being like, oh yeah, he embraced me 6 times and he was just so happy and he was like, oh my god, you're just the best ever and we were so happy for the noon hour. Like, you know, hearing that is like, holy shit, that's like a completely different side of Beethoven that nobody talks about. But also, that's
Like,
fucking Riz.
Weber used to, like, criticize Beethoven's stuff, and there was a thing that he said when he conducted Beethoven's 4th Symphony, basically saying that it was, like, garbage, and he didn't like it at all.
I mean, the 4th isn't my favorite. So, I mean,
Yeah!
it definitely pales in comparison to 3rd and 5th. But, you know, I wouldn't say it's garbage. I mean, I'm not Beethoven. As the late, great Joshua Allen Poor once said, I am not Beethoven.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
I never will be.
Oh, hell no. Alright. Weber to Brandt in Prague between Saturday, July 16th and Wednesday, September 21st, 1814. To Miss Carolina Brandt, singer at the Bohemian State Theater in Prague. Don't be angry, dear Merkel. Scold me. Call me a dreamer, a brooding philosopher. But I can't help it. It must come out. I must tell you everything I think. As I reread your letter often, and you stand so vividly before me in it, I still can't suppress the feeling that your cheerfulness isn't entirely genuine. Many strange signals seem to find their way into your letters, perhaps involuntarily, amidst the apparent joy. God grant that I am mistaken, but it's strange that I can never entirely shake off this thought, this fear. However, away with anything that could upset you. Scold me. Tell me off thoroughly. I'll gladly endure it. Just make sure that the hope for a happy and joyful future takes firmer and firmer root within me. Give my regards to Bach, Mother, and all acquaintances. I embrace you dearly, holding you so tight, that Merkel almost loses breath, and is glad when I let go. 10,000 kisses from your most loving and faithful Karl.
Oh,
That's so cute!
so sweet pie.
A month before Weber died.
Oh.
To Madame la Baronne de Weber, in Dresden, in Saxony. Number 25, London, 5th May, 1826. Friday. Good morning, my beloved life. Today will only be a short letter, as the concert arrangements are already beginning to set me in motion, and although Smart takes care of everything possible, I still have plenty of trouble left, especially inviting the singers, etc. Oh god, I'm not used to this at all. I'm much too lazy, and it's incredibly difficult for me to do something for myself. But it can't be helped, and it's probably the last time I'll give a concert. Your dear number 14 has just arrived. Should be number 17, without a date. But from the contents, it seems to be about Max's birthday on the 25th. Their eldest child, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my thoughts were with you all day, as they always are. And I envisioned in my mind all the gifts arriving and the children gathering together. Thank goodness that my old lady is also enjoying herself romping around with them, and the great burden is lifted from my heart. But the joy seems to have almost evaporated already. You don't write to me about Firstow's letters to Roth, you and Botger. Could they be so delayed? I feel sorry for poor Deverant, but it's all her own doing, and so she will perish. You're a real hero! Bravo! Lucky that your nerves are better. I wish I could say the same. I'm very excitable. In Hosterwitz, everything will calm down, and the robust and cheerful Muckin will cheer up the poor invalid so much that he'll feel young again. They always call each other Muckin and Merkel. It's so cute.
That is so cute.
Oh dear Muckin, If it's as cold for you in Hosservitz as it is for us in London, then I pity you. It snowed yesterday. The English don't remember such a cold spring. It's all happening in my honor because I could really use the warmth. Oh, dear heart, you're mistaken if you think I'll bring back a variety of things. Firstly, there's nothing to sniff around here, because in this cold, I only travel. Secondly, there's nothing better here than with us, and everything is 4 times as expensive. Well, I'm quite calm. What must be, must be. God bless you all, my dear ones. Stay healthy and good, and keep loving your old faithful father who loves you above all else in the world. Father Carl.
Aww. I also fucking love how he was like, yeah, and another thing, British people can't fucking dress, bro. He said, man, I'm dying in London, and I don't even get to die looking at people that can fucking dress right. Crazy
And he's
shit.
like, I'd rather wear my wife's scarf before I get a glimpse of British clothing.
God damn, he's just like me for real.
Alright, this is the last one I will read, but it's from Weber's wife to him. To Charles Maria von Weber. My beloved Carl, yesterday I received your dear letter number 30 from the 22nd, and thank God, I found it somewhat calmer and not so gloomy anymore. I might say, one can feel the mood in which the letters are written. May the next one look even friendlier. I'm very happy that you're also getting nice roles now and getting to know the surroundings of London. When we were in Westenstein yesterday, oh, Mux, I must take you there. It's romantic. I would have been completely delighted if Johann wasn't such a donkey. The path is not the best and quite hilly. Westenstein is hidden deep, and you don't get to see it until you're in front of the gorge. Well, there's a steep path leading down the inn, and Johann thought he'd strain the horses if he'd led them down there. Just as I'm about to start enjoying the beautiful view, the grumbler comes up with his concerns, making dreadful faces and dousing me with cold water. It took a long time until I could feel truly joyful again about this beautiful sight. The silly Hans! If the horses weren't supposed to climb a mountain, we might as well put them in the pantry and pour sour cream all over them. Tomorrow I'm going into town to deliver my letter myself. But it weighs heavily on my heart that you won't receive it in London anymore if you leave on the 10th or the 11th. Then my glooming number 26 would have ended badly, and I wouldn't have even wished you a happy journey. As glad as your departure makes me, I wouldn't like that at all. But, you know, your Lena has only one wish. Your and the children's well-being. Maybe I'll find a letter from you tomorrow already instructing me where to send this letter. If not, it will still make its way to London. The children and the muckin are in great health and frolic around nicely outdoors. You'll laugh when I tell you that Alex has got another tooth. So in 3 weeks, 5 teeth without any suffering at all. Isn't that lucky? I think you'll find him a bit leaner. We don't notice it so much, but the baby fat has certainly gone. Well, he's perfectly healthy, so all that matters. Max is good and learns well. Also, I'm supposed to remind Father what to bring along, but that will be difficult for you because the lad has unfortunately already had everything. My finances are in very bad shape, dear husband, but it's also crazy what we need. Well, I can't help it. Now we'll close for today. Goodbye for today, my good old man. May God give this letter a cheerful ending. Farewell, farewell, my beloved husband. Forever your faithful, Lena.
Oh, shit. It's very cute, but also she'd never see him again, right?
Right. It's actually devastating.
Do you know how much longer she lived after he died?
She lived until, like, the 1850s. Let me check. Yeah, 1852, and she was born in 1794.
Jesus. So she lived a while longer after he died.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like 30 years.
God, I feel like it always works that way. Like, one of them dies young, and then the other spouse has to fucking live years and years without them.
I know, it's actually so fucking sad.
But, no, I mean... the British killed him. Bro was killed by British fashion. So that was the life and death of Carl Maria von Weber. But no, I feel personally like I know so much more about him than I learned in music history class. Because, I mean, unfortunately, with, music history courses, you have to pack so much information into just one semester. So in the music history course I was in, where they talked about Weber, it was Baroque through Romantic. So they had to cover all of that shit in the span of like what, 8 to 12 weeks or something.
I know.
Like, it was. So I'm really happy, and that's personally why I'm doing this series, where I have people like you and Third Memonese on the channel, so that I can kind of fill in the gaps that I didn't really get to learn in my music history classes. And I feel like I've learned a lot. I definitely have a newfound respect for Weber. I'm definitely gonna go listen to more of his music after this, and I really appreciate you for being on this show. Again,
I'm very honored to be here.
Felix Mendelssohn's Forehead was one of my favorite Instagram accounts from before I even started my meme page. So the fact that it's kind of come full circle and that I can have you on the show is really, really cool to me. So everybody that's watching this video needs to go give Felix Mendelssohn's Forehead a follow on Instagram and look at their fire memes and their fire art. And everybody that is watching this video needs to at least watch Der Freischütz one time.